my fault if I'm gon' lag. And what's his name got hit with two, them bullets stopped him in his tracks. No, I'm a shotter, don't talk to cops, he yapping and we gon' pop him. No, E3 a demon, he switched the mode and I can't stop him. Know a couple hoes was choosing, broke their hearts today, I dropped them. And if I don't got it on me, best believe I'm still gon' sock em. Fuck the house, that's how I'm rocking. When they block and get the pop, shoot it up just like a rocket. For a fact, there ain't no stopping. I do good, but I'm a top. Take the game and I'ma lock it. Keep it going, I ain't flopping. Joey, I hope you watching. Niggas play that role when they see that you on a roll. Lose the fame and the money, then watch how quick you all alone. Call the nigga my brother, then he try fucking on my own. Now all these bitches on my dick and she won't leave my ass alone. It's my lifestyle. We caught him lacking off them drugs and knocked his lights out. Trying to be patient, but bitch, I want this money right now. Washington, New Jersey, I don't even gotta take a flight now. I just make a call and watch how quick them niggas pipe down. It's lucky I got you. And I just hope you keep on working, don't let nobody stop you. Telling me like proof you got it, ain't nobody can top you. And rest in peace to my brother, it hurt my heart when they dropped you. Rest in peace to Joey, man. Rest in peace to Ant Bands. Niggas know how we come. Fuck what they talking about. Fuck the ops. Gang shit. Ride for my brothers, I'ma die for my brothers. What's up? Niggas know how I come.
Yeah, no love from me. Yeah, I can't show nobody fake love, cause I've been in my bag lately, getting cash, baby. So don't you act like you been here from day one. Graduated from a simp, turned into a big boss. Now she see me getting rich, cause I'm about to take off. Yeah, my life is like a movie, this is only take one. Yeah, and I ain't got no time for no one with fake love. Where the love go? I don't know, but I need something that's for real. She just want designer, red bottoms in the hills, California. She just want the limelight, gold digger. She gon' see me when the time's right. Heard that little bro was try to play me. Heard he talking crazy, now he coming to congratulate the kid. I think it's funny how they try to hide the hate and be the first to smile up in your face and show you all this fake love. I can't stand the fake love. Where the love go? Where they go? Where the love go? I can't stand the fake love.
Heyo, everyone.
I can't show no love, can't show no love. No love from me. Yeah, I can't show nobody fake.
Just waiting for people to filter in. Pizza! Pet kitties in my room. Peace. And then there, no fighting.
Tell me where the love went. She don't care unless it benefits her budget. And I can tell she only in it for the gold. She gon' have to learn to get it on her own. Tell me why the boy was talking on me like you was sweet, then turn around and try to dab me when we up in the street. I can't show no love for a hater, a traitor. Show him fake love, see you later.
One sec, Pios was out.
Where the love go? Where they go? Where the love go? I can't stand the fake love. Where the love go? Where they go? I can't show no love, can't show no love. No love from me. Yeah, I can't show nobody fake love, cause I've been in my bag lately, getting cash, baby. So don't you act like you been here from day one. Graduated from a simp, turned into a big boss. Now she see me getting rich, cause I'm about to take
Now we can get these out because the other cat's right over there and Pios isn't allowed to eat these right now. And here Junior comes. come on. Here he is. Kitty. Yes. You want one? Yes, you want one, didn't you? Yes, say hi to the people at home. Please don't jump up on my shelf right there. Aww. So people who don't know, the cheetah is my favorite animal. And it's a cheetah that's on my shirt right now. Yes, the kitties are real. We're going to be finishing off Book 5 of Wings of Fire, The Brightest Night. I'm like, it's a tiny chunk that's left. This chunk left. 3 chapters, 1 epilogue, and there isn't a snippet of the next book. However, there is something to like get you hyped up for the next book. And like, I'm excited because it's going to be from the point of view of dragons we don't know, of characters we don't actually know right now. I'm pretty sure. Sherry. Anyway, I hope you have your water ready. I got my water ready here. It's pretty warm in my room, so windows open. Don't know if you can hear it. But I'm streaming earlier because my sister has a meeting here later when I usually stream, so I don't know how many will be able to like come and watch me today. But tomorrow I'll be at Argyle, of course. I am going to be starting genocide route of Undertale to Mara. Torture myself like that. Yep. So excited. Anyway, we've hit the 10-minute mark. Chapter 26. No! Sunny screamed. Sunny, stay back! The Viper's still alive! Deathbringer yelled from overhead. She realized that he was holding Glory in the air and the Rainwing Queen was fighting to get away. But no one was holding her back, and she didn't care about the snake. She didn't care that she did get bitten. She wasn't going to leave Clay lying there dying. She scrambled across the courtyard and threw her wings over him, shaking him with her talons. Clay! She yelled. Clay! He looked dazed, but his eyes were open. Maybe the snake had missed him. She couldn't see it anywhere. Maybe... Oh, Clay said, trying to sit up. Oh, my leg. Wow, that really hurts. He pressed his claws to his head and looked as if he might pass out. And then Sunny saw the wound, the fang marks in the flesh of Clay's right thigh. A black starburst had already appeared around the 2 holes, pulsing bigger and bigger across his warm brown scales. Clay! Sunny started to cry. Please don't die. I'm open to suggestions, he said with a small, breathless laugh. He reached toward his leg, then flinched back, gritting his teeth in pain. Tsunami thumped down on his other side and let out a gasp at the sight of the snake bite. She twisted to look at the courtyard around them. Where's the snake? She said. Where did it go? I don't know, Sunny said. She could barely see through her tears. She leaned against Clay, trying to send all the warmth from her scales into him. Hey, it's all right, Clay said, although his claws were clenched and his wings were starting to shudder. It's not such a bad destiny, Sunny. I'd die to save you and Starflight over and over if I had to. His voice caught on the last few words and he stopped, breathing hard. I order you not to die, Tsunami said, grabbing his shoulder. Clay, stop! Stop it! Stop dying right now! Her normally bossy voice was full of panic. Ow! Deathbringer roared from up in the sky, and a moment later, Glory crash-landed into Sunny. No, Glory said, looking at the growing burst of black. Her scales had turned lily green and white, the colors of fear and panic and pain. No, we have to be able to stop this. There must be something we can do. Starflight, she bellowed. Think, how do you stop a dragon bite viper's poison? The scrolls must have said something, she muttered, touching Clay's scales. He winced as her claws brushed the blackened area. Why can't I remember anything? Why is it spreading so fast? Sunny looked around for the first time and realized that the dragons along the walls had fallen completely silent, staring at them. Blista and Blaze were watching, too, one with cold interest and the other with horror. Over by the wall, Starflight was trying to find them, stumbling forward with his claws held out, although Fatespeaker was trying to drag him back. And there was something hurtling out of the sky toward them, something that blazed fiery orange and trailed smoke. A dragon with burning scales. Out of the way! Peril yelled. Sunny, get everyone out of the way! Tsunami reacted first, leaping over Clay to shove Sunny and Glory back. The heat from Peril's scales swept over them as the Skywing hit the ground and nearly slid into Clay. You can't die, Peril yelled at him. I won't let you. Don't! Tsunami started forward. What are you doing? What are you... I'm burning out the poison, Peril said, and she stabbed her smoldering claws straight into the center of the black starburst on Clay's leg. With a roar of crazed agony, Clay surged up as though he was trying to fly away. Tsunami, Glory, and Sunny flung themselves at him and pinned him down, but he was bigger and stronger and fighting down. Deathbringer, get down here, Glory yelled, and a moment later the Nightwing was there, adding his weight to theirs. Sunny grabbed Clay's front talons in hers and held on for dear life. Clay, it's alright, she's helping you. But Clay was in too much pain to hear her. He jerked and thrashed, his howls digging into Sunny's heat like Icewind claws. Heart like Icewind claws. She closed her eyes and leaned into him. The awful smell of melting scales and burning flesh assailed her, and as if she were burying her snout in the Nightwing volcano. She felt more dragons join them, holding down Clay's wings and kept his claws away from peril. When she opened her eyes again, it was who she expected. Riptide and Starflight, and also who she didn't. Thorn, clasping Sunny and Clay's talons between her own. "Mother," she whispered with relief, resting her head against the warm sandwing scales. "This should have been me," Thorn said, "but I couldn't get to you in time." Sunny shook her head and chanced a look at Clay's leg. Peril still had her talons buried in his scales, carving out everything that had been touched by the black venom. There was a scorched, gaping, bleeding hole in Clay's thigh, and Sunny had to look away quickly before she threw up. "I'm not sure he can survive this," Thorn whispered gently to Sunny. "That big of a burn?" "He can," Sunny said fiercely. "Maybe no one else could, but he can." "Fireproof scales," Starflight said across from them. "Oh, I hope," Thorn said, and then she spread her wings around Sunny's back and pulled her close, falling silent. A few moments later, Peril said, "That's all of it," in an exhausted voice, and stepped back. "I think it better be. I don't see any more venom, do you?" she asked Sunny. Clay? Are you alright?" Clay had passed out. His wings were limp, and his head lolled to the side when Riptide let go of it. "Is he alright?" Peril said, her voice rising. "Tell me it worked." "It worked," Glory said. She rested her talons on Clay's chest, which was rising and falling evenly. The black venom had stopped spreading. Peril had burned it all out of him. Sunny could see his fireproof scales trying to fix themselves, warm brown smoothing over the scorched spots. But the hole Peril had had to gouge out of his leg was too big for the scales to knit over. Clay was going to be scarred and probably limping for life, but he was alive. He'd survived the snake bite. That was all that mattered. "Thank you," Sunny said to Peril. She automatically reached to hug Peril, but the Skywing jumped back before they could touch. "Seriously," Tsunami said, rubbing her face with her talons and sitting back. I don't know what to say." Glory had her tail curled around her talons and was holding her wings in close as wave after wave of odd colors spread through her scales. Deathbringer put one wing around her gently, and she let him. "Maybe," Clay mumbled, and they all leaned closer to hear him. "Maybe Peril is the wings of fire." He lapsed back into unconsciousness. Sunny saw the nervously delighted expression on Peril's face and felt as if her heart might explode. "The Nightwings just made that up. Wings of fire was nothing but a pretty phrase to them. But it is something, and it is more than Peril's burning scales. Peril helped us because Clay is wonderful. He was kind to her when no one else ever was, and he believed in her, no matter what she'd done. His heart is the real wings of fire." She glanced around at her friends. Clay's heart, Tsunami's courage, Glory's determination, Starflight's loyalty. I think the wings of fire are inside of all of us, inside every dragon. Maybe you just have to reach inside and find it. She thought all of this, by the way. A sinister hiss interrupted her thoughts, and she whirled around as a jolt of fear ran through her. The dragon-bite viper was slithering up between two of the stones, eyeing the group of dragons with a cold, dark, lidless glare. Peril leaped forward and smashed her talons down on it. The snake flailed horribly for a moment and then crumbled into a shriveled, burned-out husk. "Ah, well," said Blister's voice behind them. "That would have been convenient, killing all my enemies with one snake, so to speak." Blister flicked her tail up and studied them for a long moment as they turned to face her. Tsunami squared her shoulders and glared back at her, talons clenched as if she was ready to fight. "But I think I'll deal with you later," Blister said. Her eyes shifted toward the hordes of gathering dragons, and Sunny realized that Blister wasn't sure what they would do. If Blister tried to kill the Prophecy Dragonettes right here in front of everybody, would they stop her? How would they react? "For now," Blister said, "I'm finally one step away from the throne that is rightfully mine. And that step, of course, she turned to her sister Blaze, who cowered back against the Icewind Queen, is killing you. End of chapter 26. Oh my gosh. Clay is saved. Oh my gosh. Yes, he's safe. Thank the heavens for peril, I say. This is going to be a short stream, I realize. Anyway. Oh, should we continue because he's in the room with giving him a treat between each chapter? I think we're going to do that. Yes. Vicky. Oh. Yep. Yes. Yes, good kitty. Yes. Yes. No. Ow! No, let go of it! Crazy little kitty. You gonna eat my fingers now? Yes. Anyway, chapter 27. You don't have to kill her, Sunny protested as Blissa advanced on Blaze. Perhaps, Blissa said over her shoulder, but I certainly want to. Can't you fight for me? Blaze pleaded, turning to Queen Glacier. I don't want to die like this. Queen Glacier looked torn. She had to know there was no chance Blaze would survive this duel, which meant she'd get none of the promised territory for her Ice Wings. And she'd been left with a bordering kingdom ruled by a queen who'd been her enemy for 18 years. But Sunny could see that Glacier wanted to be just and fair. She couldn't fight a Sandwing battle for her, and not one-on-one for the throne like this. The Icewing shook her head. I'm sorry, Blaze. This is your fight. She touched Blaze's wing with her own, briefly, then turned and flew up to join her fellow ice dragons on the wall. Blaze faced his sister wide-eyed with fear. You can forfeit, Sunny cried. You don't have to fight. Let her be queen and live. It's too late for that. Blissa snarled. She wanted to be queen badly enough to fight for it all these years. She can't back down now that it's just the two of us. With a swift, sudden movement, Blissa darted at Blaze, bit down viciously on the edge of one of her wings and darted away again. Ow! Blaze shrieked. She staggered back, staring at her wing. 3 moons, it's bleeding! I'm bleeding! Oh, brother, Glory said, but there was pity in her expression. Shouldn't we stop them? Sunny asked her friends. It's Royal Sandwing business now, Starflight said, touching the bandage around his eyes and ducking his head. They'll fight, and Blissa will win, but the important thing is that it means the war is over. There will be a queen on the Sandwing throne, and no one else has to die. Except Blaze, Glory observed. The two Sandwings circled each other, hissing and jabbing with their tails like two scorpions. Poor Blaze, Sunny said. It doesn't seem fair. She curled into Clay's side, leaning against his scales. I wish someone else could be queen, Fatespeaker said. Lissa is so creepy. And smart, Starflight said. Who knows what she'll do once the throne is really hers? He scratched his claws against the stone. With a united Sandwing army at her claw tips, and the treasure if she's the one who stole it, she could easily be the most dangerous dragon in Imperia. Isn't there anyone else? Sunny asked. She turned and saw Smolder still standing in the shadows of the doorway. He met her eyes and started toward her, carefully avoiding his sisters. I don't think so, Starflight said. None of the three sisters have exactly taken the time to have dragonettes. Hello, Smolder said, sliding up to them. Flower was perched on his shoulder, staring around at all the dragons with her big brown dragon-like eyes. Aren't you all dramatic troublemakers? Do you think Blizza's going to let me live? I'm guessing no. This would probably be a good time for me to run away. He cast a speculative glance at the sky. But to where? Could you use another outclaw, perhaps? He asked Thorn. You have some nerve, Thorn snapped. I should kill you myself for that trick you played, locking us in the library. As if I had a choice, Smolder said reproachfully. And it didn't even work. Vern was this close to killing me until she got your message about meeting her here tonight. I should be mad at him too, Sunny thought, but she couldn't be. He wasn't evil. He wasn't even mean. He was a dragon in a terrible family, in a hard situation, in danger of being put to death like his brothers at any moment. He could have killed her the moment he got his talons on her. He could have left her in the tower. Maybe she shouldn't like him, but she did anyway. Smolder pointed to his sister's dead body with a rueful expression. I must admit, I never expected to outlive her. It probably won't be by much, if that's any consolation, Thorn said bluntly. Smolder? Sunny broke in. Are there any other dragons in line for the Sandwing throne? Did Queen Oasis have sisters or any other daughters? Or did any of these three have dragonettes? Smolder shook his head. Mother was very strict and very careful. She had just the 3 dragon daughters, and some could inherit, so someone could inherit the other day. So someone could inherit one day, but she didn't want a lot of challengers. So she had no more eggs, and the rest of us were not allowed to have dragonettes either. He fell silent for a moment. I was in love once. She was so angry when she found out. I don't even know what she did, but I never saw Palm again. You should have better choices, Sunny said, stamping her foot. All 3 of your sisters are terrible. Blaze let out another yowl of pain as Blister slashed her claws across her nose. Sunny had a feeling this fight could have been over already, but Blister was playing with Blaze, showing off for the audience. Why can't someone else be queen? Fatespeaker asked. If Glory can be queen of the Nightwings, who says it has to be a member of the royal family? Good question, Glory said. Who else would have the authority? Starflight asked. Why would the other Sandwings listen to anyone else? If any dragon could take the throne, it would be anarchy. There'd be challengers trying to grab it every other day. I know, Sunny said, but still, if all the royal options are awful, it seems like there should be a way to give the Sandwings someone else, a better queen. Her wings drooped. After everything they'd been through, all the worry about the prophecy and all the danger they'd been in, and all the dragons who tried to kill them, was this how it ended? They stopped the war but gave the Sandwings an evil queen? Was she supposed to say, oh well, good enough? Flower wriggled off Smolder's back and came over to pat Sunny's talons in her odd confident way. The little scavenger looked up at Sunny and squeaked, waving her paws. Scavengers are so crazy, Tsunami said. She ducked her head to sniff at Flower. Look at her, just standing in the middle of all these giants. Where's her survival instinct? This is the one that stole the treasure, right? Hey, squish face, this is all your fault, you know. Flower wrapped her arms around one of Sunny's ankles and tugged as if she were trying to drag Sunny somewhere, squeaking loudly. What? Sunny asked. She looked at Smolder. What's she trying to say? Smolder shrugged. I never know. Flower jumped up and down, flapping her paws. Sunny tilted her head, confused. The scavenger ran over to the pit of sand, flapped again, ran back to Sunny, tugged on her ankle, and ran back to the sand. To Sunny's astonishment, Flower threw herself down and started to dig with her paws. What are the 3 moons? Smolder said. I'll never understand scavengers. She's trying to tell us something, Sunny said. She followed Flower to the sandpit, glancing up at the obelisk. Did Flower know that the dragon she killed, or helped to kill, was buried here? This is a little morbid, Flower. Flower wagged Sunny's front paws, pointed at the sand, shouted something like yibble frobble, and went back to digging. Alright, Sunny said, and started to dig too. What could she be trying to tell us? What are you doing? Glory demanded. Digging, Sunny said. She glanced up at Blaze and Blister. Blaze had 3 more bleeding wounds, and Blister was pacing smugly around her. Surely the fight couldn't last much longer. Why? Tsunami asked, starting to come next to her. Because Flower wants me to, Sunny said. I don't know, but it feels like maybe it's important. Tsunami and Glory exchanged glances. Sunny could guess what those looks meant. Another crazy Sunny idea. Look at her following a scavenger's instructions. As if that makes sense. Scoot over, Tsunami said. She flexed her claws and drove them into the sand. You two, Glory said to the scavenger, joining them. You too, Glory said to the scavenger, joining them. Tsunami and Glory began to dig, wing to wing with Sunny. A moment later, she looked up and found Thorn digging busily beside her as well. She tried to hide her smile, but she couldn't. Their talons swept the sand away quickly, and soon Sunny could see the gleam of white bones below them. That's Queen Oasis. Why does Flower want us to dig her up? Oh my gosh! I mean, I know what's going to happen. Not because I've read it, but like, it just makes sense. Ever since Flower was like starting to tug on Sunny, I just knew what she's going to lead them to. Before long, they had the front half of the dragon's body uncovered. She was huge too, even bigger than Burn. She must have been terrifying when she was alive. Flower scrambled into the hole they dug and carefully climbed around the bones until she was standing beside the dragon's skull. She tapped on the skull's jaws and looked up at Sunny. A sudden shiver went down Sunny's spine, as if she knew what was about to happen, although she couldn't have put it into words. She reached down and pried open the queen's mouth. Inside were 2 sacks, falling apart and full of holes, but otherwise just like the one the scavengers had given her in the forest. Behind her, she heard Glory gasp. She understood what this meant. 20 years ago, the night Queen Oasis died, Flower must have hidden some of the treasure in the dead dragon's mouth before she ran off to hide in the dunes. Maybe she thought she'd have a chance to go back and get it, or maybe she didn't want to be caught with it. Sunny carefully lifted the sack onto the sand. Emeralds and gold coins and tiger eye bracelets spilled out through the holes. She sliced open the sacks with one of her claws, and there it was at last. The Eye of Onyx. I knew it! End of chapter 27. We're on to the last chapter already. And then we obviously need the epilogue. But like, Flower read the situation that these two were fighting to become queen, and she knew for some reason that if maybe Sunny found the treasure that she'd hidden, she would be able to stop it and give the dragons a good queen or something like that. Which she can with the Eye of Onyx. With the Eye of Onyx, Sunny can become queen instead of Blister or Blaze. Instead of Blister, basically, because Blaze is useless. And is going to die if they don't stop the fight. So, Chapter 28. By all the moons, Thorn whispered. Sunny slid her talons around the black spear and lifted it up. As she did, she realized it was set on a chain of hammered gold links, so it could be worn as a necklace. And then she took a closer look at the setting. It molded in molten beaten gold on either side of the onyx stone were 2 dragon wings. They caught the firelight of the torches and glowed red, gold, orange as she held the necklace up. Wings of fire! Had somebody known somewhere along the line and told the Nightwings? Was it just a coincidence? In a way, the prophecy turned out to be real after all. Even if somebody thought they made it up, it's real to me and to all the dragons who need the war to be over. But the prophecy didn't make it happen. No all-powerful fate or guiding force in the universe made this happen. We made this happen. Me and my friends and all these dragons here, and even Flower. She could feel power thrumming through the sphere, like the obsidian mirror or the dream visitor, but stronger and lighter somehow. She wondered if animus-touched objects had different auras based on which dragon had enchanted them. No wonder no one has been able to take the Sandwing throne all these years, Tsunami said. It's like Queen Oasis was still hanging on to it, Glory agreed, nudging the bones with her tails. Flower was watching them nervously from the top of the skull. Sunny held up the Eye of Onyx and made a little bow toward the scavenger. Thank you, she said. This is what we needed. Sunny, Tsunami said, with this, you could be queen. You'd be a great queen. It's true, Glory said. Nobody wants Blister. They'd follow you if you want their throne. They were right. Sunny could sense that the magic in the sphere was not confined to royalty. Any Sandwing who held the Eye of Onyx could command the whole kingdom. Even Sunny with her harmless tail could be queen. Another earthquake shook the ground under her talons. And I promise not to be jealous, Tsunami said, even though this is all highly unfair because why aren't thrones just falling into my lap is what I'd like to know. Sunny imagined it, a palace, an army, treasure and power. She'd command the largest kingdom in Peria. She could make the kingdom of sand so a safe, peaceful place to live. She could change the laws and stop dragons from fighting each other all the time. She looked up at the wings and claws and teeth lining the walls. Could she? Would she be strong enough to punish anyone who opposed her? Would she know how to defend her subjects if another tribe attacked them? Would she have to become a different kind of dragon? I don't want to be queen, Sunny realized. I don't want to fight for my throne or worry about the size of my territory and how much is in my treasury. I want to be with my friends. I want to teach dragonettes how to make peace and how to find other solutions instead of war. I just want to be me, Sunny. But it still didn't have to be Blister. There was another choice. She could feel the eyes of every dragon on her. Even Blister and Blaze had stopped fighting, alerted by the silence that something significant was happening. Blister stepped toward them with a hiss. Sunny looked right at her, then turned and gave the Eye of Onyx to Thorn. Oh, she gave it to Thorn! She gave it to her mother! I mean, when she first met her mother, she could feel the authority radiating off of her. So, she would actually be she's an excellent choice. Something crackled between them as their claws touched. A tiny jolt of purple lightning sparkled along the curve of the black stone. This is your new Sandwing Queen, Sunny said, hearing her voice echo across the courtyard. She is our choice. She is the right choice. Murmurs and gasps rippled through the watching dragons. Fourth moon and fireballs, Thorn said, awestruck. Me? Are you sure? I'm extremely definitely sure, Sunny said. Awesome, Glory whispered, and then Sunny looked over to her, the Rainwind Queen, and when Sunny looked over to her, the Rainwind Queen winked. Beside her, Tsunami was nodding too. Absolutely not, said Blister, advancing on them. That is mine. I deserve it. I took the rest of the Sandwing treasure. I tricked Mother into flying to her death alone. She gave the old queen's bones a scornful look. I used my brain to get out of facing Burn in a challenge duel by turning our fight into a war. She hissed at the dragonettes, her usual stillness broken by trembling anger. I am the smartest dragon in Imperia. I am the rightful Sandwing Queen. She flicked her tail at Burn's body, then at Blaze, who was crouched on the stones, bleeding from several small wounds. Besides, it's in the prophecy, she growled, of 3 queens who Blister and Blaze and Burn. 2 shall die, and 1 shall learn. Queen Sunny quoted back at her. If she bows to a fate that is stronger and higher, she'll have the power of wings of fire. Marcia was talking about the Nightwings, hinting that the winning queen would have to submit to the Nightwing tribe, but this is much better. This is your fate, to accept your new queen, she nodded at Thorn. Blister coiled her venomous tail up, giving Sunny and Thorn a cold glare that was unsettling like a dragon bite. That was unsettlingly like a dragon bite vipers. You don't seriously think that's going to happen, do you? So fight me, Thorn said. I'm not afraid of you. I can win this throne in a battle if that's how you want to do it. She tossed her head toward Blaze. Or are you only willing to fight weak and cowering dragons? Blaze's expression was hard to read. Is she afraid to fight Thorn? Sunny wondered. Or is she calculating her next move, coming up with another evil trick? I don't have to fight you, Blister said, pacing closer and closer. Her obsidian eyes glittered in the moonlight. You have no right to this throne. The Eye of Onyx is mine. Suddenly she lunged forward and snatched the smooth black sphere out of Thorn's talons. Orange sparks flew from the eye where Blister's claws touched it. There was a hissing, crackling, spitting sound that seemed to fill the whole courtyard and expand outward, shock waves spilling over the walls and the desert beyond. Blister's talons started shaking. It looked as if she were trying to drop the Eye of Onyx, but she couldn't. Lightning flickered across the black stone and then out, darting across Blister's arms and up into her wings. She jerked back, nearly lifting into the air, and fell, still clutching the sphere. But she didn't scream. She never made a sound, even as her tail smashed into the ground and her head thrashed from side to side. The lightning cracked again, faster, ripping through the Sandwing's body. And then Blister, the dragon of their nightmares, the sister whose evil schemes had started this whole war, exploded into a pile of black dust. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke for a long, long moment. And then Blaze said wonderingly, It's me? I am the sister who survives? Thorn stepped forward, gingerly picking up the Eye of Onyx again. It made a little humming sound and flickered with dark purple lines just once, then went quiet. What happened? Starflight asked. Beside him, Fate Speaker shook her head, for once too shocked to speak. I think we'd better do some research about the exact enchantment on that thing, Glory said, giving the Eye of Onyx a weary look. I can see why Oasis kept it in her treasure instead of wearing it, Thorn said. I'm a little traumatized right now. But she lifted the necklace over her head and let the chain settle around her neck, with the onyx stone and the dragon wings resting in the center of her chest. They bumped against the moonstone that was already there, and Sunny thought of her father. We proved him wrong. We really did. We ended the war. She looked up at all the dragons who were watching, from the walls, from the sky, and now spilling onto the courtyard, Sandwings coming forward to greet their new queen. Blaze was the first one to reach her, crouching and bowing low to Queen Thorn. Behind her, others followed suit. This is really strange, Thorn whispered to Sunny. I hope you're planning to help me figure all this out. I will, Sunny said. But you'll be brilliant. She caught a glimpse of Smolder, Six Claws, and Quipley among the bowing dragons, and she saw Queen Galatia, Queen Coral, and Queen Wahine watching from the walls, looking relieved. And I think there'll be lots of other dragons willing to help you figure it out too. She realized the Clay was sitting up beside Starflight, rubbing his head, and she hurried over to him with Tsunami and Glory right behind her. His bewildered, worried, wonderful face, alive, and alright, made her whole body feel as though it was full of light. Wow, everything hurts, Clay said. He blinked at them, and at the sky where the sun was rising, and at the courtyard full of dragons. Did I miss anything? Oh, forward. End of chapter 28. Oh, he's looking at me now. He knows I'm going to give him a treat now. Yes, I'm going to give you a treat now. But first I need to drink some water. And here the little kid comes. Wish, wish. Now he is sniffing my computer because of the cheat stand over here, and he's walking over my computer. Hey, Thorn is queen now! Which means Sunny is a princess now. Because Thorn is Sunny's mom. Aww. Oh, no, do not walk over my computer, please, and thank you. What did I just say? Are you kidding me? Come here. Come here then. Why not? Epilogue. 1 month later. It was a perfect day for flying. Trails of white clouds splashed across the bright blue sky as if they'd been painted on a long, thin brush. In long, thin brush strokes. The wind whisked around them, fast and breathless and playful, and the mountains below looked like sharp green gemstones in the warm sunlight. Can't you imagine it? Sunny said to her friends. Wouldn't it be perfect? They stood on one of the peaks of Jade Mountain, with all of Pyria spread out below them. From here, on a day like today, Sunny could see the white sands of the desert far off to the west, and the dark green of the rainforest to the east. She could see the ocean glittering blue in the south, and the jagged teeth of the mountains stretching in a long line north toward the Sky Kingdom. She opened her wings and felt the wind whoosh around her, nearly lifting her off her talons. I can see it, Tsunami said. We could use the caves as classrooms, but have everyone outside as much as possible. Lots of sunshine, Gloria agreed. Mandatory sunshine. And field trips, Clay suggested, limping over the rocks to them, so every dragonette can feel mud and sand and the ocean and snow and also eat mangoes. He grinned at Glory. Mandatory mangoes. And scrolls, right? Starflight said. Lots and lots of scrolls. All the scrolls in Pyria. We could have the biggest library in the world here. He paused, and even with the bandage over his eyes, they could see his face fall. Sunny twined his tail around his, knowing he felt more comfortable when he was touching another dragon. Don't worry, Starlight, Fate Speaker said from his other side, nudging him gently. We'll figure out a way to make scrolls that blind dragons can read too. And until then, I'll read you every single scroll we find. I promise. I'm not going anywhere. He smiled shyly in her direction, and Sunny felt another stab of guilt. They talked about it. Finally, once they were all safely back in the rainforest. Sunny had found him by himself for once, lying in the sun on one of the leaf platforms, and she'd curl up beside him until he woke up. I'm sorry, Starlight, she'd said, and he'd known right away what she was talking about. I know, he'd answered, turning his head away from him. I love you, but like a brother. She'd hesitated, then said, not like Fate Speaker loves you. He folded his wings over his face and coughed, embarrassed. It's alright if you love her too, Sunny said. You should. She cares about you. And she's hilarious. He hadn't said anything for a long time. Finally, Sunny had said, I brought you something. His head lifted at the sound of the rustling scrolls. Remember Tales of the Nightwings? Want me to read it to you? He'd said, actually smiling. It'll sound a little different now that we know none of it is true. Sure, please do. Here, now on the mountaintop, Sunny thought, well, she hoped that everything would be alright between them. He'd be a great teacher. He didn't need his sight to do that. And his flying was getting more confident every day. If she ever found someone she cared about that way, well, then things might be awkward again for a while. But he had Fate Speaker. They'd be alright. Do you think anyone will actually come? Tsunami asked, pacing back to the northern ridge. I mean, skillful dragonets from all the tribes? No one's ever done anything like that before. The queens might not want their subjects to understand each other better. What if we build a school and no one comes? They'll come, Sunny said confidently. We're not the only dragons who want to avoid any more wars. This is the best way. Dragonets who grew up together will see how alike they really are, no matter what tribe they're from. Then they won't judge each other, and they'll be much less likely to kill each other. Like us, Clay said, grinning at her. Unless they're all like Tsunami, Glory joked, and then getting to know each other will make them more likely to want to kill each other. Tsunami smacked her over the head with her tail. Hey! Deathbringer shouted from overhead, where he was swooping about surveying the mountains. No hitting a queen. Yeah, Glory said saucily to Tsunami. No hitting a queen. You're not only a queen, Tsunami said. You're only a queen, Tsunami said. You might have the night wings and rain wings wrapped around your tail, but you're still not the boss of me. And neither are you, Mr. Moony Eyes, he said to Deathbringer as he landed beside Glory. I bet I could knock you off this mountain if I wanted to. I think you're proving my point, Glory mused, and then Dr. Tsunami tried to swat her again. My brothers and sisters will come, Clay said. I think if they know I'm here. Umber was telling me he hardly knows any history, and his reading's not that so great. He'd love to learn more. We should ask Webs to be one of the teachers, Sunny said. Now that he's all recovered. I mean, whatever else you guys think of him, you have to admit he was a good history teacher. And he can't go home to the Kingdom of the Sea. Kara would never forgive him, even if she lets all the other talents come back one day. I vote yes. I'd be happy to finally get him out of my rainforest, Glory said. much as he would clearly prefer to stay in bed eating fruits forever. She flicked her tail, turning orange around her ears. Kinkajou and Tamarine will come for sure. They need real teachers, not the scraps of time I have for them. I'll send some others, as long as you promise they'll still get their afternoon sun time. Don't forget Mighty Claws, Deathbringer suggested. And that little Nightwing whose mother hid her egg in the rainforest. Moonwatcher, Glory said, nodding. Poor little nervous dragonette. And my sisters, Tsunami said. I bet I could get Mother to send Anemone and Orchid, although then we might have to let Queen Coral visit, like, pretty much every day. Wow, Sunny said. He all survived. All these dragons we care about. Isn't that amazing? I mean, except Dune and Crystal. She looked down at her talons. And Viper, Fatespeaker added. And my father, Tsunami said quietly. Sunny reached over and twined her tail around Tsunami's. The other great thing about this school idea, Sunny said after a moment, is that this way we can all stay together. I mean, if you want to. If you want to go back to your families, you can. But we'll always have a place where we can be together. I'd rather be with all of you than in the Mud Kingdom, Clay said readily. Especially if I can get Umber and the others here. Same, Tsunami said. I'm afraid to go home. Mother will somehow get a harness on me, or at least want to watch me every moment of the day. And it'll be easier to learn aquatic here than in a deep palace, where it will be a million eyes on me all the time and hardly any chances to come up to the surface to talk. She shuddered. Whereas no one could understand me. How could I boss anyone around? Sunny giggled and Tsunami shot her a grin. I have to stay in the rainforest, Glory said. But it's not far. I could come visit all the time. Starflight didn't say anything, but they all knew he had no attachments to the Nightwing village, where that was being built in the rainforest. His father, Mastermind, was in prison, or the closest thing the Rainwings could come up with anyway, until Glory could figure out how to try him for his crimes. And Fierce Teeth was still in the Scorpion Den. Fierce Teeth. Oh yeah. Sunny reminded herself that she had to talk to Thorn about that. About her and Strongwings, once they figured out what they wanted to do with them. Oh, I know! Peril! Clay said suddenly. Peril could be one of the students. She's got nowhere else to go, and we'd be able to take care of her. Sunny caught the look that went between Glory and Tsunami. They all knew they owed Peril Clay's life, but it was still hard to feel entirely safe around her. She really doesn't know where Scarlet is? Tsunami asked. Isn't that a little weird that she rescued Scarlet and then Scarlet just vanished on her? Peril's out looking for her now, Clay said. She said Scarlet was appearing in her dreams all the time before the rescue, but she hasn't come back since. Maybe we could use that dream visitor to look for her? Sunny suggested, except then she'll see us too, which makes me nervous. I wish we'd found the obsidian mirror. She'd gone back to the outskirts of the Scorpion Den to look for it, but as she feared, every sand dune looked the same, and a day of digging had turned up nothing. Either someone else had found it, which was also a worrying thought, or the desert had swallowed it up. It is disturbing, Deathbringer said, frowning up at the sky. She's going to come for you sometime, especially you, she said to Glory. Glory shrugged. I'll let you worry about that, she said. Oh, thanks, he said. You know I will. Fine by me, she said, and despite their sarcastic words, the look they gave each other made Tsunami roll her eyes at Sunny. Yeah. I wonder if they'll have dragonettes together one day. Will anyone complain that the Queen of the Rainwings should be with another Rainwing instead? A half Rainwing, half Nightwing dragonette. What would that look like? Everything in one dragon, or something different, like me. Then I wouldn't be the only half-tribe dragon in the world. Below them in the caves, Sunny knew her mother was having an awkward reunion with Stonemower. They'd both changed so much over the last 7 years. There wasn't much in common between the new queen of the Sandwings and the partly stone enchanter hermit of Jade Mountain. Sunny had been with them for the first few moments, but it had been way too strange, so she'd fled out here to her friends instead. Oh, she said, remembering something. One of the things we have to teach everyone is the Nightwings don't have all those powers that they've been claiming to have. We can't let everyone still be afraid of them, right? Except me, Fate Speaker protested. I totally do have the powers. Do have powers. Fate Speaker, Glory said sternly. We talked about this. Alright, Your Majesty, Fate Speaker said, subsiding grumpily. But I swear my visions do really feel real. But that comment went away again without falling on us. Starflight pointed out. Didn't that convince you? Fate Speaker had the grace to look a little embarrassed. Well, she said, it could still come back. Sunny started giggling, and after a moment, Fate Speaker's dramatic face cracked, and she joined in. What about our prophecy? Clay said, we want to confuse everyone if we tell them it wasn't real after all? Sunny thought about that for a long moment. Maybe we could say the Nightwings lost their powers along with their home. So that was it. The last prophecy. The last prophecy, Starflight echoed. 3 moons, yes, Tsunami said. That is what I vote for. No more prophecies ever again. I guess we just have to make it up from here, Sunny said, watching the wind tug at her wings and tail. Far below them, hawks soared over the ridges and valleys. Bad news, Sunny. I'm pretty sure we've been making it up this whole time, Glory said. Sunny laughed. That's true. And things turned out alright anyway. Well, I know what I want my destiny to be, Clay said. I want to be sleeping and being friends with you guys forever. Oh, wait, also feasting. Lots of feasting. That sounds great, Starflight said. Best destiny ever. We can make that happen, Sunny said, smiling, and all of them spread their wings and leaped into the wide open sky. And that was the end of the epilogue. The adventure continues in Wings of Fire, Book 6, Moon Rising. And there is something here to get you hyped for the next book. The war is over. The false prophecy has been fulfilled, but the dragonettes still have enemies. A dark evil, buried for centuries, is stirring. And a young Nightwing may have had the first true prophecy in generations. Something is coming to shake the earth. Something is coming to scorch the ground. Jade Mountain will fall beneath thunder and ice, unless the lost city of night can be found. Oh! Oh! Oh. 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 Well, Moon Rising? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Well, we gotta have to wait until a Monday to start the new book. Sorry about that, but yeah. But yeah. See y'all later. Hydrate, don't dehydrate. I gotta get the cat a snack. I forgot. But yeah. Hydrate. Don't dehydrate. Treat others like you want them to treat you. And be kind. Just be kind, really. Yeah. Stay happy and healthy. Thank you for coming. You can't walk a mile on my side.